Yo guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome if you've never been here before. So I've just jumped on today to do my weekly Forex forecast, and this will be the Forex forecast for the week commencing the 27th of June 2022. But guys, before we get started, I will just draw your guys' attention to the written version of this forecast, which will be linked in the description. So this written version will be linked in the description, guys. So if you want to check that out, just click the link. Alright, so let's get into it. Alright guys, so this week is actually a lot of the pairs pretty similar to last week just because the structure hasn't really changed much in this little window here, but I'm still going to talk about each pair as usual. So starting off with Nzdusd, we've got a clear bearish downtrend. We've got a clear downtrend on the daily time frame, so we've got break structure 1, then followed by another break structure. So what that has left behind is this bearish range here. So within that, we're looking for supply, which we can then sell away from. Now for me, I can see two clear areas of supply. We've got the extreme area up here, ideally within this wick. So that is the daily area of supply. And then what we've also got on the 4 hour is the most recent 4 hour order block. Now for me, while both are fine, the first place I'm going to be looking to sell from is this 4 hour order block. So just like I spoke about last week pretty much, I'm just expecting price to come up here into this order block, and then once we do get into that area, I will just look to sell away from there, and that is pretty much what I think is going to happen with the NZD this week. So on the 4 hour, I'll be looking at that. If this area here gets broken, then I do still expect price to sell off, and I will be looking at sales higher up in the daily range. So that's NZD for me this week. Literally pretty much the same as last week, so it's just really a waiting game now to see how price reacts off this 4 hour order block. And then we can look to either sell out of there, or we can look to sell further from the daily and also to follow the new 4 hour structures if this one doesn't hold. Alright, so AUD USD. So AUD, we're still bearish. Now, we're bearish from up here, and we had basically a break structure here. Now we've got our second break of structure. Now price has come back up into this order block like I spoke about last week, but we haven't broken above that. So for me, that's pretty much respect of this order block, and we are now moving away from that area. So guys, what I am expecting is that this bearish trend is going to continue. So we're going to see this low here broken. Now, since this isn't actually a relevant high because we've not broke this low yet, this is relevant high. We've already reacted off here, so I'm just going to be following the 4 hour this week on AUD USD. Now on the 4 hour, we've had a break of structure here. That's come from there. We've got a clear candle, very clear institutional candle. So for me, I am just waiting now for price to retrace back up to here, and then I will sell out of there. So what we could see is counter trend buying opportunities to take us back up there because it is a pretty decent move. But for me, the high probability is to wait and then take these sells following with this impulsive nature that came out of here. So that's AUD. Again, guys, it's pretty similar to last week. So if you watched last week's, it's just because not much really changed this week on high time frames. So pound dollar, again, guys, it is just pretty much the same as last week. So on the daily, what we've got is this break of structure here. So we can see that we're in a clear downtrend with a clear bearish bias. Now, the most recent break structure is this one. That's left behind this order block here. So that area there is clear bearish supply. So for me, what I'm waiting for, price comes back up into this area, takes out this imbalance, and then we look to follow from there as the bearish institutional supply will come into the market. Now, that said, what we do have is this 4 hour bullish order block. So obviously we don't know if this is going to hold, but even within a thesis where this does hold, we've still got a decent counter trend move over 200 pips to actually get up there. So for me, probably this week, the first thing to look for is a retracement into this 4 hour order block here, which calls the most recent boss, and then we can look to buy up out of there. So this week on pound dollar, we can buy out of there, and then we can sell out of the daily when we get up there. And that is pound dollar this week. Pretty simple. So euro dollar. So overall euro dollar on the daily, we're in this clear downtrend. Now within that downtrend, we've had this order block which caused this boss, and then we had another boss. Now this order block here wasn't respected, so we have seen a bullish break now. which is left behind this bullish order block, and we still have this bearish order block, which is fully valid and to me is a pretty good order block for sells. So at this point, what I'm really expecting is we've seen price come down. It's failed to actually break through this bullish order block, so we know we've got institutional bullishness coming out of this area. Now, for me, I'm just expecting it to continue at this point. So really, I'll expect price to continue up here, and then when we do get up here, we can see either we'll be continuing, but I think more likely, based on the fact we are still in the downtrend, we are just going to see the institutional sell volume coming in out of this area, so we can just look to sell down and break structure again. So EU this week, early in the week, I'd say let's follow the 4 hour and see if we can buy following the 4 hour out of this area. So for me, at the minute, that's the high and this is the low. So we have displayed that bullish intent on the 4 hour, and for me, I will be expecting price to dip down into this area, and then we can look to buy out of there, which then should take us up to that daily order block for sells. So EU this week, first thing I'd be looking at is buying out of this 4 hour area down here. With that, we can then target this area up here. Then once we do get up to this area, I will be absolutely looking for sells to then capitalize on this bearish move down to break structure and make new lows on the euro dollar. And that is euro dollar this week. Alright guys, so finally, pound yen. So pound yen, we're still in an overall bullish structure. Now, for me, we've got this order block down here. So the whole buy thesis, the invalidation is down there. So at the end of the day, what could happen is price can just flip bearish really. Anytime from now, price could flip bearish and then we could end up all the way down here. And for me, that is completely fully valid within the picture of what's going on, because we do still need to come down here at some point to mitigate these orders from an institutional perspective. Now, that said, however, what I generally follow is the most recent break structure on the daily. Now, on the daily, our most recent break structure came from here. So we've had the break structure. We've now dipped back into that area and we're now moving away again. So really, if we think of it as we're going up, we've come back down, we've mitigated. So now really, we're just in a bullish continuation situation from that perspective. So in terms of that, what I'm looking at is areas to buy from on the 4 hour. Now, on the 4 hour at the minute, what I can see, we've got these last two consecutive breaks. Now, this one here, I don't see, it's fully valid for price to react off. So what we could see is price does just continue away from it. But with that said, this one is not really a high confidence order block just because there's no imbalance or inefficiency. So also, we've got this impulsive nature there. So for me, what I think is more likely is we'll come up, we'll bounce off this area here, and then we will end up coming back down into this 4 hour impulsive order block, which caused the original break, which reacted from the daily bullish order block, and then we can look to buy up away from there. So for me on pound yen this week, I think we could see buys out of here, but more than likely what we're going to see price come down here and then we can look to buy out of this area. And then if that doesn't hold, I will just be watching for a bearish structural transition on the 4 hour, which will then take us down into this high time frame order block, which is lower down. Alright guys, so that's GJ this week, and that is the forecast. So guys, if you've got any questions, then please do just let me know. Bit of a quick one this week, just because a lot of the pairs aren't too complicated this week, and also it's pretty much the same situation as last week on a lot of these pairs, so I didn't see any need to go over it in too much detail. I think I'd give you guys a picture of what I think is going to happen. So guys, if you've got any confusion, please do just leave a comment. If not, I hope that you've enjoyed the video and found value in it, and please do like the video and subscribe to the channel if you want more. So guys, thank you very much for watching. Have a safe trading week and stick to your trading plans. Cheers guys.